What if you could create more kindness in the world just by being you? Everyone has the potential to create and receive more kindness. What if kindness is more than being nice and compassionate to others? Have you ever considered what having more kindness for you could create in your life? Get ready to learn how the energy of kindness is integral to reducing stress in your life and how it can assist in healing your body. Now, here is the host of Cultivating Kindness with Karen, facilitator of healing, Karen Leslie.
And as you can tell, we are live, and you're here with Karen Leslie, and we are on the Inspired Choices Network for my episode of Cultivating Kindness with Karen. And I am super happy you're here. Those of you who are tuning in to hear Lizzie, you can catch her on the replay. She's amazing, so please go and find her. But you know what? Hang in here with me. Perhaps you'll find something a little different and something new. And check out who Karen Leslie is. It's all fun. It's all great. And I'm thrilled that you're here with me today. We have a really interesting topic to chat about today. And I was just saying to my producer that it was one that came to me so many months ago. I don't even remember how long ago. It was a long time ago. And it came from my dad. He said to me, because we were talking, and I said, "You don't need to worry." And he's like, "I'm not worried about you, but I'm concerned." And I thought, is there a difference? And so I wrote that down, and it just kind of sat in my book of ideas for shows to share with you. And then a few weeks ago, it kind of popped when I was looking through the list. And I thought, okay, I think now's the time to do a show on the energy of worry. Now, as you can see in the title, I was saying that, the energy of worry is not a kind energy. This is not a kind space for us to be in. So I really want to unpack that and look at that today, because chances are most of you have the idea that when we're worried about somebody, that it's from that very heartfelt space that we're really caring about them. Most likely that was what was modeled for you when you were a young child. The idea of being worried meant we cared. So we carry that with us, and we held on to it until this very moment, or until the moment comes when you think, oh, I want to change this. This isn't working for me, and I don't think it's working for the other person as well. And we are going to go into that much deeper. This automatic default way of thinking when we hear something from another person that elicits some kind of concern or a thought process in ourselves, where we can go into so many different energies. We can go into doubt about them. We can go into fear. We can go into this almost fantasy space where our imagination runs wild and we get all kinds of different scenarios that are going to play out for this person. And we do the exact same thing for ourselves. When we're worried about something for ourselves, our own health maybe, or a situation that we need to be participating in that we're uncomfortable about, so we go into that energy of worry. When we do all of when we bring in this energy, it doesn't matter who it's for. It really doesn't. The result is the same. It's not kind. And so for a number of you, you're going to be going, you got a ways to go to convince me on this one, Karen. That's okay. I'm happy to keep chatting about it. And I'm happy you're here to listen to a different perspective on how we use this word, because I'm hoping by the end of the show that even saying the word will be something that you will stop using, that you will have a different perspective and new words, new ways of thinking, new energies that you can step into that are much kinder for you and for whatever it is you may be worrying about, or whomever you may be worrying about. There is a different way of working with this. and it still is supportive. And it's still coming from that heart center, that space of love that you are carrying that has brought the whole idea of worry to you. There is, there's stuff coming in. I just need to filter it a bit. There is a way of working with worry without stepping into this energy that you can develop that actually has the ability to create so much more for yourself or someone else than you can possibly imagine in this moment. There really is. And the fact that it's all been programmed and you're used to it, you've been brought up with thinking this way, it may take you a little bit to change this way of thinking around. But trust me, it is so worth it. It really, really is worth it. Now, am I going to convince my dad of that at 92 years old? Probably not, and that's okay. But what I can do and what I have done is if he goes into that energy of worry, I can understand where it's coming from, and I can receive it from the heart space that it's meant from. And by doing that, by having the knowledge of the energy and allowing myself to be present when that energy flows to me, because it does every time, I can reframe it. And then I can be in that space of like a mutual kindness between the two of us. It is completely possible. And another thing just popped in for what is kind of confusing too about worry is you can be worried about another person. You can share this with somebody, and you may have done this when you were younger, and you're encouraged by that. You're like people saying, that's really nice of you to be worried about them. I know that, they mean a lot to you, or I know you really wish them all the best. So it's reinforced that, yes, this space of worry, this energy, it's a good space to be in. Now, you could be talking to the exact same person later, months later, years later, and you're talking about worrying about something about yourself. Now, all of a sudden, the rules may have changed. Oh, you don't need to be worried about that. Why are you worrying? There's nothing to worry about. You're getting mixed messages. So your mind's going to hold on to the ones that feel better. So you're going to want the ones that were like, it's so nice of you to be concerned about them or worried about them. Your mind is going to feel like you've been judged by the ones where they're saying, what have you got to be worrying about? This is silly. Don't be so silly. Your brain is going to hang on to the one that you receive most often, which is going to be talking about being worried about another person because you've been judged, you've been criticized, you've been made to feel poorly about yourself when you shared how you were worried about you. So you're going to refrain from doing that one, so it's not going to be reinforced. So again, mixed messages are coming through, but it's still going to keep you in that space of feeling it's the right thing to do to worry about another person. And you're going to feel that it's the wrong thing to do to be worrying about yourself. Tell me, folks, how does that work? How is this actually making sense to anybody? It makes no sense to me. But it is how our mind will work. That's all it is. So let's change that. Let's turn that around. Let's have a deeper understanding of what the word worry means and its energy. Now, remember, I've been saying on more shows lately that everything is meaningless until you give it meaning. So this worry energy truly has no meaning. It is just an energy that's out there until we attach the meaning to it that we wish to use in that moment. So that same word, you can give it the meaning of, this is good, and you can give it the meaning of, no, don't do that. Same word. Our own personal judgments and our own personal experiences and our own personal beliefs are going to dictate how we feel about that word. Now, what does not change is the energy of the word worry. And the energy of all our words comes from the original meanings of the words, how they were first presented into, well, I was going to say into the spoken, but we really only have the reference of going back into when it was recorded. Now, depending on the word, we can get information for this, from the 12th century, 13th century, so a long time ago. Or perhaps it's changed more recently, like recently meaning like 17th century or 18th century. So I went and I looked at the word worry and concern to see if there was a difference between the two and what that energy is that they both carry. So I'm going to start with this a little bit just for some background for you. So the word worry back in the 1800s meant to cause mental distress or trouble. It was that whole idea of like mental turmoil, anxiety or stress somehow in that fashion. Then it took a little bit before it started to change a little bit more, but it was generally in that same idea. And so that's a way that we all think about the word worry. Now, all of the information prior to that as far back as I could go, which was 12th century, it meant to slay. It meant death. I was shocked. But this was all based on original meanings attached to early words in German. Not even going to go there to try and tell you what those words are. You can look it up. But those words had the idea of death and to slay, to strangle. And I was just like, wow, like the energy of that, that's brutal. So think about that a little bit. No wonder when we go into the energy of worrying about someone that we quickly lose that heart-centered feeling, right? So if we've got a heart-centered feeling, it should feel loving, strong, empowering, right? There's so many words that would be from a thought that comes from your heart center. Yet, as soon as we go there, we get physical representation of this word worry. We get symptoms of anxiety. We get symptoms of how stress looks for you. We get symptoms in our body saying, "Whoa, this is not okay." Because that original meaning meant you were in danger. You were in actual danger. The analogy they use was a dog or a wolf grabbing something by the neck and shaking it until it's dead. I mean, gruesome. But that's why we respond the way we do. Our mind has told us it's heart-centered. It's been modeled to us to represent being heart-centered. But the fact is, it is only for a fleeting moment. And then we go into the original energy of the word. Now, the word concern, nowhere near as dramatic. It really isn't. But it's like the saying, or you may write, to whom it may concern when you're writing an email or a letter or something. Well, it's to distinguish, to perceive, to refer to relate to. It's sort of all along that lines. It wasn't until closer into the 17th century that it got connected into the word worry, and it could be, you could say, "Oh, I'm concerned," or "I'm worried," and we use them interchangeably. But they're not really interchangeable, but we will use them that way. So this energy of peril for ourselves is very, very real when we're using the word or being in the energy of worry. So we're going to go into this a little bit more. We're coming up to our first break. There's a lot to unpack and to understand with this. There really is. And we can turn it all around so that we can still have that heart-centered space to be for ourselves and for another person without going into the anxiety and the stress and those physical responses that we get. And I also want to talk about, so when we are in those energies, what happens for the other person? You know what happens for you, you feel it in your body. But what happens for the person that you are worried about? All right, we are going to our break now. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'm Karen Leslie, as I was saying, and I'm your host here on Cultivating Kindness with Karen. We're here every week on the Inspired Choices Network, I'm always striving to bring you new ways of looking at things. I think I've done it this week, and bringing you the energy of, you can do this, you can change it, you can work with whatever it is you wish to. But the key is to understand what you are working with. And to do that, we have got to get beyond our current beliefs. We've got to go deeper, be more vulnerable, and allow ourselves to truly be present with the energies that are there. And that's something I love to do with my clients. So if you'd like to explore that more with me, please send me an email, whether it's to work together or about anything else. You can write to me at Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. And that's Leslie for how to spell Leslie. All right, people, don't go away. We'll be right back just after a couple of short messages. All right, thanks, everybody.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. So I just want to talk about one thing real quick from the commercial that you just heard. If you have any inkling that you think it might be really fun or part of your journey or something you really aspire to have a podcast, reach out to the Inspired Choices Network. I am so happy that I'm here with them, and I am thrilled that I can fulfill a really big part of what I look at as being my purpose with being here, to be able to educate and to be able to bring new ideas and hope to different people. This platform, the podcast platform, is amazing, and it reaches so many people. And I'm so grateful for those of you who listen live every week and for those who come on to find me and get to the replays. It is not as scary as you might think. You will get great support, and the team here is so professional. I mean, they really are. It's amazing. So reach out, and if you want, contact me. I'm happy to have a quick conversation with you and share with you my experiences and a little bit of my learning curve, because who I am today on this show with you right now and who I was when I started in December 2022. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was. We're very different people. I'm still Karen Leslie, but I am a new and improved version. And it's a result of this and then many other things that I do as well, because I really, really work hard at walking my talk. All right, let's get back to this whole energy of worry. So worry is a fear-based energy, right? No questions about that. If you just joined us, go back into the first segment and you can hear why there's no question that worry is fear-based. Now, being a fear-based energy, it's not one we are meant to be in full time. When you're in any fear-based energy, any of them, it's exhausting on your body. When you are in fight or flight and all of those different hormones are going and all the physical responses and the brain just going over and over and over again, sending you messages, you get tired. You get confused. You are not present in the moment. You set yourself up for accidents. You lose perspective on things. Like, it is a problem. We are not meant to be in any fear-based energy any longer than absolutely necessary to get us out of the situation that we found ourselves in. And then when we get out, you go into recovery. You go into getting yourself back present and in a healthier state. Yet we're encouraged that it's okay to worry about somebody. It's even a good thing. Makes no sense to me. You are actually causing your body a form of distress. Consciously, you're choosing to put your body in that situation. If you are genuinely worried, how you understand the word worry to mean for you, then you will know that your body physically changes. We don't just haphazardly say, oh yeah, I'm really worried about them, and not notice anything in our body. If you're lying, cool, you're not going to notice anything. But if you're genuine, you are going to feel it. These energies are our warning signs that in this case, we've chosen to ignore. Right? See how this whole energy is just odd. It is so odd how we have come to look at this and work with it. Worry is not our natural state of being. Heart-centered, yes. Now there's a space that we naturally are, that we arrived with. We didn't arrive holding on to that energy of worry. We were taught about it. Even if when you were born unwell. Your body was going to do what it required to let those in your care, those of you taking care of you, know that something's not okay. But this infant wouldn't know the energy of worry until those around him or her or they demonstrated it. And then you start to learn. So I learned at a very young age because I almost died at 3 months of age. And I'm guaranteeing you, people were worried. I remember being very ill at 16 and the doctor saying to my mom in the emergency room, this is what she's got. I didn't know the word. I saw and felt the energy from my mother. And I thought, oh crap, this isn't good, whatever it is. You don't need to understand to perceive the energy, the fear-based energy of this word. I really want you to understand that. So I gave you 2 examples. The one when I was 16 is the better one, that I didn't know what that word meant. The word was meningitis. I had spinal meningitis. I just knew I felt like crap. I knew I was sick. I didn't know I was going to be tossed into isolation and everybody was all of a sudden going to start to go crazy around me. I didn't know what the possible outcomes could be from that condition. But I knew enough that I started to worry. So I threw in that energy of worry on top of how lousy I physically felt. I perceived correctly the energy of it. Now, did my mom intentionally give me that message? No. Did the doctors and my parents give me that message when I was a newborn? No. But that is how fast, just like that, worry energy moves. It is fear-based energy, my apologies. That is one of the fastest moving energies out there. Now you will say to me, Karen, all energies move the same. Well, they don't, but we like to think that they do, especially when from a thought perspective, but we know they don't, but we ignore a lot of that. Why do I say then that fear-based energies move so quickly? It's because we are so finely tuned in to receiving them, because we grow up with them. We're taught that they have significance over and above heartfelt energies. Part of that goes back into from our DNA from a long time ago when we actually lived in an environment where our life was in peril a lot more than it is today. For most of us in the world, there are still people in the world that are in extraordinarily dangerous and difficult situations. I do understand that. And for them, yes, they are in fight or flight on a constant basis. But for most of us, and for most of you listening to me, that's not the case. But we are so finely tuned to fear-based energies that we pick up on them so quickly. Our little radio antenna or our Wi-Fi signals, however you want to do it, whatever age group you're in. I'm in the antenna age group. We'll just leave it at that. But we dial into this frequency and we know it so well that we pick up on it immediately. So if you're going to choose to believe that, and I hope you will, but if not, that's cool. But for those of you who do, now go back to me being in that emergency room, hearing the words and feeling the energy and what I received instantaneously. This happens for the person you are worried about. When you are worried about someone, whether you verbalize it or not, and we'll get into the difference, they will know that fear-based energy coming from you. They pick it up. They can't help it. Their body knows that energy. There isn't anybody, I would guess, over the age of, we'll go with 7, for whatever reason, that's the one that popped in, that hasn't experienced the energy of worry somehow. Either worry for themselves or felt worried for another person. We know it. We know it deeply, soundly, very acutely. So when you go into worry about a person, you send that fear-based energy to them. This is really counterproductive because you're worried because you've got a concern, an issue, a situation, or whatever it might be in front of you, or something you are just aware of that's not sitting well with you. And I understand that. But I really want you to understand that when you go to that space, you send that fear-based energy to the other person or to all the people. So you can be worried about people in a country that are in war. I get it. This is how we've been raised. But now you've added more onto the strife and the difficulty that they're already dealing with. There has got to be another way that we can handle this. I'm not saying don't be, I'm going to use the word concerned right now just for lack of other word, but I'm not asking that we don't care, that we become ambivalent. I can't even say it right now in this moment, that we become so neutral that we don't even give anything any mind anymore. No, I'm not asking us to be these neutral zombies without emotion and wishing the best for other people. But I am saying, choose the energies you wish to actually send to somebody else. Choose an energy that will give them that sense of kindness coming towards them, not an energy that's fear-based. How to do that and what those other energies can be, we're going to talk about all those when we come back after our break. We're at our second break already. Time is flying by. I am so happy that you are here with me. I truly am. And for those of you that are hanging in here on this a little bit more difficult conversation, stay with me, because in the next 2 segments, we are going to wrap this up, and we're going to have it so that you can have that place of really holding someone else in your heart and know that you are sending them the energies that will be a contribution to them, that are that heart-centered space that you thought you were working with, but you actually weren't. So don't go away. We've just got a couple of minutes here for a little bit of a commercial break for you to hear more about myself and the Inspired Choices Network. And as I say, I'm going to give you energies and words and tools and things that you can use for yourself and for others to be in that space of kindness. All right, we'll be back just in a couple of minutes, everyone.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. All right, we've been a little heavy on kind of the conversation so far. So let's turn that around and let's look at, all right, how do I get out of this way of thinking? And then what can I do in its place? Because it's going to be and will continue to be this automatic space that we are going to want to go into when somebody says something to us or we witness something or something comes into our own life that we're like, I'm not sure how to handle this. Let's find a way of working with it for both you and when you are thinking about others that does not put either of you into that fear-based response, into stressing your body even more, right? You've already got information that's come in that's got you concerned, that's making you think, oh no, how is this going to turn out? Then you ask questions like that and your mind goes, oh, I can tell you, I'll tell you. And you get all of these scenarios coming along. And you know what? Chances are really good. Most of them are not going to have happy endings. This is the way our mind works. It does. It gathers information from the world around you. And if you've got a belief that the outcome from anything that's attached to worry will end up being not positive, then that's the only information your mind's going to hold on to. It's going to hold on to past experiences. You're worried about yourself. You're going into a situation. You've been there before. You've done that. You did it. And then you went, that was really uncomfortable. And you've got all these judgments you're holding on to. Like you've got this evidence that this didn't work out well. And your mind's going to show it to you again. Next time you're either in the same situation or even something that's even just vaguely similar, your mind's going to go, oh, this is close enough. I better give Karen these thoughts. I better tell her she needs to be worried. I better tell her you got to be really cautious here. Well, there's another way. There is totally another way. First choice, first thought, and you're going to need to practice this, is that when you automatically go into using the word worry or getting into that energy of concern, however it's showing up for you, to just say, right, you know what I'm going to say, stop. Tell your mind to stop. Then ask another question. Bring something in. Okay, so what else is possible here? What can I now say that comes from my heart? What can I now do that's coming from my heart? From the space of encouragement, from the space of positivity. Perhaps you're going to pick up the phone and call them and just have a conversation about anything. I don't care. Talk about the dog you saw that was out walking that, oh my gosh, it was so cute. I know you love dogs. You would love to have seen this one. Do not talk about the fact that you are worried about them. Really, don't. Instantly, you have sent that fear-based energy. Talk about anything else. Allow them to talk about anything. If they wish to talk about what's going on and the struggles they're having, just be that open and listening ear. If you need to say something, you can say, I hear you. If it's true, you can say, I understand. But when someone is really in difficulties, please don't lie to them. Please don't bring them any information or comments to them that's going to put them into a space of more judgment of themselves. They're already in judgment. They're already worried about themselves. They've already got all those feelings in their body. They know when things aren't correct. Trust me, their body's doing a really good job at communicating that to them. Now, will they necessarily understand where it's all coming from, the reasons behind it, and why it's manifesting in the way it is in their bodies and their thoughts? Maybe not. But in that moment, chances are very small that they are going to be open to receiving your perspective on this as to what you think's correct or what you think needs to be done to change it. Being in that space of just being present and as best as you can, being non-judgmental and being loving, if you can get there, that is a gift, because you will be the only or one of very few people that can hold that space for this person or these people. You know, okay, prayer's coming in now. So prayer is a really, really popular way, and prayer may be one of your go-tos when there's people that you know or a person you know, or, you know, the countries that are in so much difficulty. It seems there's always multiple countries around our world that are in total conflict. And so one of the things that we are taught, whatever faith you are in, we all have different versions of the same thing, which is a form of prayer, a form of settling in, connecting to whomever or whatever you are comfortable with and feel safe with. And you will lift your concern to that energy. But you're lifting your concern. We're taught to lift our concern. Well, depending on how you lift that, you may be lifting that fear-based energy. Now, the deity, God, universe, creator, whomever is receiving, then, we will hopefully have that mindset or feel comfortable that they understand. And they're not going to receive this as being fear-based. This could be a whole other show. So much information. But what can be happening is the energies we put out are the energies that are given back, right? You know these sayings. If you are constantly concerned about something, then you're going to get more of what you're concerned about because you're putting it out there that you actually wish to be concerned about it. So here's more to be concerned with. When you want to go into that space of prayer or lifting up these concerns, I would love it if you would consider doing it from the space of using positive words, not retelling the story or the words of how difficult it is for somebody or for the people of a country. Lifting this person or these people up from the perspective of send them energies to assist them, send them love, send them guidance, send them safety, whatever comes to you. But watch how you are using prayer. And I use prayer. I think prayer is awesome. But how I pray is definitely different than it was 10 years ago. Well, actually, even different than it was probably 2 years ago. Who am I kidding? So that's one of the things you can do, right? You can be in that new space when you're talking to somebody. Please try to refrain, as I said, from saying you're worried or saying that you really care about them. They know you do. You've reached out. You don't need to say it. Just be there. Just send, if you're not talking to them, just send that energy of acceptance, of love, of no judgment. Just be that space for them to be able to find it within themselves what they need to do to step out of the situation that they're in. You can do it. And it works. But we need to have no judgment about it. And please don't have an agenda. Because when you go in as to how you want it to turn out, then you're sending that energy, a push energy that, to be honest, they don't have the bandwidth to handle in that moment. So they're going to either take on more worry or stress or anxiety in their body, or they're just going to discount it. But either way, it's not going to work out how you think it should. We need to be that space of encouragement for them and within ourselves. Do the exact same thing when you have those energies land in your body about you. Remind yourself, this is the mind giving you these thoughts. Stop, right? Use that word, stop. Tell your brain, give it a job. Say, find me, show me when I have had a different result. Show me when this changed successfully in the past. Now, if you've never had that or you believe you've never had it, show me how to change this, how I have never been able to change it before. Send someone to me that can help change the situation for me. Send someone to me that is the energy I can work with so that I can feel better, right? Work with it. Be that space for it. It's really important. And you will be such a gift for yourself and for others. And as you work within yourself and you change it, it will become more automatic when you're with others. For me personally, there is this swelling in my heart. I feel like the Grinch. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. When I know that I am in that energy of just pure kindness and love, and I have no agenda, and I see the person receiving that, and I see how it empowers them. I see how it lifts them up to make a different choice. how to look at a situation from a new perspective, a different point of view that brings other opportunities to them that they would not have been able to have seen before. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. And if you're there with them in person, you'll see it in their eyes. You will see a change. And it's like magic happens in that instant. For you, it means still staying the same, maintaining that space, being that energy of kindness, no judgment, and love in that moment. I was going to say the first time you experience it, you will probably never forget. And that may be true for you. But I think more what I would like to share with you is that when you experience that for yourself and with others, it can be very profound. And you will actually desire to experience it more and more because you will feel the change and the healing within your own body. And you may be even permitted to witness this with another person. And it is a fabulous experience. It is very humbling. And I really do believe it's one that you will wish to recreate and to bring into your way of being on a regular basis. We are at our third break. Oh my gosh. We'll wrap all this up. I'll figure it all out in our next segment. So don't go away. I am so happy you're here with me on the Inspired Choices Network. It's been another great time with you here on Cultivating Kindness with Karen. And remember, right, you can get in touch with me. I'm on all the different social media platforms, on your different podcast platforms. You can search out Cultivating Kindness with Karen. You can come to the inspiredchoicesnetwork.com and you can go to the podcast link and you'll see all of the names of the shows and the hosts for everybody that's here on this amazing network. You can find me, listen to all my shows if you want, and look around, check out and see who else is here. We will come back in just a very short break and we will wrap all this up so that you will have, I hope, a completely different way of looking at the fear-based energy of worry. All right, don't go away, everyone. We'll be back very shortly.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. All right. I've been doing a lot of talking. We're a little short on time for our third segment. So, although I do want to remind you, I love it when you come into the chat room. So please, if you're ever free when the show's live and you just heard all of the various times, and you can find the times on the Inspired Choices Network as well, think about joining me. Log into the chat room and be part of the conversations. It really is fun. So, the truth of the matter here is you have no control over the choices and the thought patterns and that another person chooses to have. So they can choose to be in this energy where they're really worried and fear-based for whatever the reasons are. And to be honest, the reasons are irrelevant. They can just choose to be in that energy. You cannot control that. It's not going to do any good to say, stop doing that. Don't think that way. Be the energies I spoke about in the previous segment. Be that space that energetically they can feel that there's another option there. They may not act on it. They may not understand it. They may actually feel a little weirded out by feeling it because it may be so new for them. But if you continue to be that energy, they are going to continue to be on the other end of it and becoming more familiar with it and feeling safer with it. You can control the thoughts you have. Now, here we're saying all along, right? Everybody's talking about, oh, your thoughts are automatic. I say, you go into autopilot. There's all these habits. Those are all true. But when you understand that that is the truth, then you have the ability to make a different choice. You have the ability to say, stop, I'm not going to continue to think this thought. And you can change it. So when you get into that state of anxiety and worry for yourself, you have 100% control to shift it. Now, is it going to take time? Is it going to take practice? Are you going to maybe need some guidance? Possibly, yeah. So reach out. We can work together, or you can find someone else to work with. The key is repetition. You recognize the thought, you want to stop it. Okay, you've said stop. You say what you need to say next to change the energy. Ask a true question, right? You hear me say this. And then you do it again and again and again and again. Those thoughts that are automatic, they come out just in the millisecond of the moment because they have had so much reinforcement and repetition. So to bring in these new ones, to come out of this fear-based energy, you have to have the repetition. And it will work. It will work. Are you going to choose it? That's the question. Would you like a new thought pattern? Would you like a new energy to be in? Would you like to kick to the curb these fear-based energies that we've been taught to use, that we've been actually convinced are a good thing? They're not. And if you've just popped in at the last moment and you think, what the heck is she talking about? Please go back and listen to this show again. There are so many nuggets of good information in today's show. Learning to come out of worry is amazing. You can reprogram this, even though you've had it since you were little. It's not too late. It's never too late. It's never too late. My godfather, he taught me that. He started drastically changing his life at the age of 70. His way he thought, his mental outlook and things and he passed away just before he turned 99. He was such an inspiration to me as an example of it is never too late to look at something from a new perspective and to change something. The question is it important to you? Is it meaningful to you? Can you see how it could actually create a better life for you? Before we run out of time, I just want to let everyone know about our show next week. So we're going to talk about, do I love myself enough? Fill in the blank. Do I love myself enough to do what? What would you like to do that you're maybe not doing? Do I love myself enough to? It will be really interesting. We're going to have all kinds of great examples of things that we can be looking at. So I am inviting you to join me next week on Cultivating Kindness with Karen. And in the meantime, you may have some ideas float around that maybe you want to come into the chat room. Do I love myself enough to? Let's tie it in right now. I won't bring it forward next week, I don't think. We'll see. But do you love yourself enough to come out of the energy of worry? Do you love yourself enough to step into that heartfelt, non-judgmental space that will give you permission for your body to heal, to come out of overload and overwhelm? I sincerely hope you do. So join us next week for more on that. Remember, in the meantime, everything is meaningless until you give it the meaning that you choose in that moment.
Thank you for listening to Cultivating Kindness with Karen. Karen Leslie returns Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can find Karen at KarenLeslie.ca and follow her on social media. Until next Wednesday, Karen is sending you waves of kindness for a fabulous week. Remember, it's only you who has the power to be and receive the kindness required to change your life.